Hello, welcome to this series, All Things Robotics. Here we have a series of informal conversations with people involved with robotics. So, why don't we start with a round of introductions? Start with you.
I am Atul Thakur and I am an associate professor at IIT Patna, and I have been involved in teaching and research in the field of bio-inspired robotics for past more than 12 years.
Hello everyone, Sujay Kadam here. I am an assistant professor in Dhirubhai Ambani University, and it's a great pleasure to be a part of this series, All Things Robotics. My background is in instrumentations and control, and robotics is one of my favorite areas of research. Thanks.
And I'm Harish PM. I am a professor at IIT Gandhinagar and work in the area of robotics. So, today we'll be talking about internships. So, what do you think internships, what role do they play in a student's development and student's educational journey? In fact, we can start with Atul, but
Yeah. So internship. What does that mean actually? When we study engineering, right? So we do many courses. We study different types of textbooks, and then we write exams and we pass them. So we gain some knowledge out of it, right? Is that knowledge enough to start working in the industry? That's a question, right? So nobody will let you start working in an industry just with a bookish knowledge. They want you to have some hands-on knowledge of the things, but people will not employ you as a full-time employee just with bookish knowledge. So there is an intermediate phase, a transition phase, which is called as internship, where you can work in an industry but as a learner, more as a learner rather than as an employee. And that is what is internship. And I think that internship is very critical in engineering, if not for other fields also. So be it accountants, like CAs, right? They have to do internship. Be it lawyers, they have to do internship. So any type of professional field, when we see, people have to go through internship. So it is true for engineering also. In fact, it is much more true for engineering. And I think that internship doesn't have to wait until the last year of your engineering. It's not that you study. Yeah. So all the courses and then you go for internship. You can start internship in your summers. Like after the 2 semesters of first year, you have some time, and that time you should definitely utilize for internships.
yeah, I think many students feel hesitant that today I don't know enough to be able to do an internship. Should I apply or not? Right after first year or second year. But you are saying no, start right away because treat internship as a process of learning, not that you have learned everything and then you will go and do some work or something like that. You are going to say something.
Yeah, so internships very important. I think the way I see internships is this. So you take a lot of courses, and then courses or subjects as you robotics, for instance. You took a robotics course, learned about it, but then did not apply anything. So internships are a thing that bring you out of that subject or a course mindset and help you apply things, see things what are right now happening. The state of the art is seen only through internships is what I feel.
No, I completely agree with both of you. I think we rarely remember things that were taught in the classroom later on. I have forgotten a lot of the courses, the bookish learning that I did in my. But I think the projects and internships stay with you much longer because you have immersed yourself in one project or one activity. So in that sense, I think internships, look for opportunities for internships at any time after first year, in summer, sometimes in winter break for just 1 month, or sometimes it is just small opportunity. Look for every such opportunity where you can explore whether you like it or not, how good you can be at that, and how is the industry there, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and that is not to say that book learning from book is of no value or no consequence. Actually, learning from book is the first stab at learning, and it is the most important stab. There's no question about it. But after that, when you are building something, you have to first do rough cutting, and after rough cutting you polish it, right? Then only you get a good object at the end. So in the same manner, learning from book is like the rough cutting, that you learn things in a rough manner, and then you fine tune it when you do an internship, right?
Very nice example.
Secondly, I think, Harish, that based on my experience, there are many students who come to me for advice at IIT, and they ask me that, Professor, I I'm not an expert in robotics, but I want to learn robotics. How do I approach, and how do I convince somebody to offer me an internship, right? I also want to know what would be your response to this question when a student says, I'm not an expert in robotics, but I want to do an internship in robotics. And you can replace robotics with any other field by the way, in this conversation.
Right. I would say, uh, yes, trying to go for internships as early as possible is a good way to do it. But I think one of the challenges could be that, particularly more on the industry side, they expect you to at least have done, have some skills. So when you're starting from zero, I think possibly a better set of options could be on the academic side, because I think academia, in our labs, we are used to students joining with almost zero knowledge in that area, and in the course of working on a project they are picking up a lot of the content and know-how and skills needed for that project. So academia is typically geared very well to handle that. Somebody comes in with almost zero knowledge, and by the time they finish the project, they have gained some competency. So possibly your first place to look for is all the labs in various universities, in IITs, and in other places as well, where they may be much more flexible in terms of involving somebody, even if you have not yet gained expertise in that area. What do you think? Do you think? Yeah.
I'll share an anecdote on this, and then why this even came to my mind is because I'm faced with these questions by students that they have certain challenge with a hardware project, because the students usually I deal with are having CS and IT backgrounds, and then hardware usually means something very different to them. So the way I answer them is this: that you have your own skill sets. It's about how you apply and mold your skills to what the requirement is. And that hardware could be anything. It could be chip design. It could be something else. It could be robotics. It doesn't matter. It's just an experience of how you use your skill sets in an internship duration to a certain real world problem, and that problem can keep on changing. That's perfectly all right.
Yeah. And my response to those students, because this question is very common, so my response is, neither am I. I'm also not an expert, right? I'm also a learner, maybe a little bit more experienced than you. Uh, for learning anything, the first requirement is zeal and enthusiasm for that subject matter, but that alone is not enough. So this is another pitfall I just want to highlight, that many young students, they have a lot of zeal and enthusiasm, but they do not have persistence to keep up with the rigors of a subject, right? So if you talk about robotics, there's a lot of math, there is a lot of tinkering, troubleshooting involved, that requires you to sit down and work with the things which may seem boring beyond a certain point. But when you cross this ocean of boredom, there is the reward of extreme excitement that you have not seen any time before. So you have to actually first be very enthusiastic and zealous to jump into this ocean of boredom, right? So that with that zeal and enthusiasm you can swim all the way to the end, and when you reach to the end, then you will get that reward.
No, I think that's a very good example. And I believe it's even more true in today's world than, earlier, where there is there are so many different fields and so many different applications out there that you will not learn all of them as part of your education. So even later on in life, you will have to have this kind of mindset of, you don't know anything about a project, but you have to first have the enthusiasm to get into it, then you have to figure out how to tackle some of the harder and sometimes boring parts for which you have to learn things on your own, and then end up with something where you feel excited about it, proud about it. Oh, I was able to achieve that. So that's a great example where you are also pitching internship as a practice for those kind of skills where you are training yourself to learn on your own and cross that threshold and reach somewhere meaningful.